Hello everyone, I'm Deb Courtney. Well, this is video number 2 in regards to setting yourself up for a strong personal foundation. I think the reference I gave last week has to do with when you see a building being built, they have the deeper that they go into the ground, the stronger that structure is, the higher that building can go into the air. And the same thing has to do with our own personal foundation. When you are rooted and grounded in a personal foundation that you have set to live your life authentically and intentionally according to your beliefs, that is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. And a lot of people don't know what doesn't know what that looks like. They just live life any old way, tossed to and fro, like the water from the sea, the way waves come crashing in on them. And people live a lot of their life with their, head in their hand, thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to live this life that life has thrown at me? And so I am giving some very simple steps on how to get you there. Last week's video, I gave you 10. This week's video, I'm going to give you 10 more. So let's begin. The next thing that I have, and these are things that I come right out of my journal, is to treat your body like the temple it is. That to me is really hard for some people, because people do have a tendency to not treat their body good. And they have their reasons, I'm sure. But we should be intentional. If you'll do right by your body will do right by you. If you abuse your body with anything that is not good for your body, then it will fracture. It will die. Now, I know the body is a very unique, created, and it can take a lot. It can take a lot of things that you can throw at it, with food, with alcohol, with drugs, with laziness. And I know people blame a lot of the reason why they are is because of da 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 da. And if you're looking for an excuse not to treat your body well or to do what you want to do with your body, and then, well, let me give you an example. I know a person that has health issues. But they said, Deb, I like to eat what I like to eat. And if I have a health issue pop up, well, then I just pop a pill. And you have a lot of people that are like that. So it's just good if you will treat your body like the temple it is. Be good to yourself. Be good to your body, and it will serve you well. I can get into a whole lot of, but I'm not going there. Okay, the next thing I want to tell you is extend your boundaries until you are fully respected. And what I mean by that is, don't live a life that's sheltered, but have boundaries with people. Have boundaries with things that you're just not going to allow certain things. to take place in your life. You're not going to allow certain people to have a certain amount of influence and over you to where you're not living authentically to who you are. A lot of people every day live like this, and they really don't get the respect because people tell you what you are or are not going to do. I understand that, if you're in a relationship with someone and marriage is hard, that when two people come together to become one, you really have a lot of give and take in that, because you've got two minds, two hearts, two bodies, and sometimes they war with each other. So you have to find a win-win situation. A win-lose situation in a relationship never ever works. It never works. You have people that get resentful of the other one, and then that starts tearing down the relationship, and the next thing you know, the relationship is gone its separate ways. But there are some steps that you need to take in order to have a great personal foundation, a personal core foundation for you to live your life authentically to who you are. And sometimes you have to extend boundaries, and you have to put boundaries around yourself. There are great resources out there that have to do with setting boundaries. I have read some really great books in regards to boundaries and how that looks like according to the personality that you're dealing with. Now, there's a right way and a wrong way to set boundaries with an individual according to their personality. So it's really something that you really need to, if you want to continue with the friendship and the relationship, but you need to set a boundary, then this is something that you will really want to delve into and to look up to see, how do I go about that? Because there's a right way and a wrong way to do anything. So you want to do it in the right way and set the boundary and still be at peace with that individual. So check it out. Your local library is a good resource to go to for books that can help you with that. Raise your standards until you feel terrific. A lot of people have problems of one thing. It's called getting their thinking up. We all, at some point or time in our life, have a problem with getting our thinking up. We really don't know that's what it's called. But that's what it's called. You really raise your standards until you feel terrific. And a lot of times it starts basically in the mind and getting your thinking up. Because sometimes people don't know what their standards are. I don't have it. Some people say, well, I don't have any standards. I just do what I like to do. I do my thing. Well, guess what? That thing, what you do like to do, is your standard. So, everybody has standards. They may be way up here, they may be here, they may be here, they may be here, they may be way down here, So, but it is a mindset. It is the way you think according to what your standards will be, what you will tolerate, what your boundaries are. This all has to do with having a great personal foundation so that you don't find yourself this way all the time with what life is throwing at you. Okay. The next thing I want to tell you is create reserves in all areas of your life. for me, creating reserves has to do with one of the first things that I create reserves is having a certain amount of money set aside for an emergency fund. In the event you need to go buy a set of new tires, or in the event I had an issue with my car back in January, and I had to replace a part. I'm trying to think of what it was. It was a starter. The starter in my car. My car is 2012 Honda. The starter was getting bad. And so I had to dip into my emergency fund, my reserve emergency fund, in order to take care of that. And I was so thankful that I had it, that I wasn't panicking. How am I going to get the money? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? Da, da, da. So, having reserves in your life, financially for me, that's what I have a tendency to really make sure that I have a reserve of money, emergency funds set aside. And I would suggest, if possible, you do the same thing. I have reserve of food because of people that panic when certain things come in our sphere, our life, and people panic. It's good to set aside a certain space, if possible, to have reserved food on hand. And you can find out what that looks like. There are many, many videos on YouTube that can show you what the best foods to have on reserve. Beans and rice and pasta and whatever else. Everybody to your own, whatever it is your dietary needs are. So look at what would panic you, what would put you in a panic, and work on getting reserves for that. So the next thing I want to talk about is perfect the present, especially if it's not. Okay. Living in the present, living now. How could you take what you're living in now, day in and day out, from day to day, and perfect that and make that be better for you? Now, if you're a single person, it's going to look totally different than two people that are married or are partners together. And that's going to look different than a family that has one child, three children, four children, however many children. So every one of us is different as far as perfect the present. And that doesn't mean it has to be perfect, but you need to be working on it. You know, it's like, this is what I say. This is what I say for myself. And this is what I give other people encouragement about is I may not be where I need to be, but at least I'm not where I used to be. So I'm working on the perfection of being where I need to be, but I'm not there yet, but at least I'm not where I used to be. If you have that mindset, then you are daily working on what it is. Maybe it's your health, gym, food, dietary needs. Maybe you're looking to come off of certain medications. So you're looking at alternatives as far as cardio. Because diet and exercise go hand in hand. I don't care how many pills they come up with. It doesn't matter. Diet and exercise go hand in hand. What you eat is as much as important as how much you move around. The body was not made to sit around. It was made for movement. Okay, so perfect the present as far as it depends upon you, as far as you can, wherever you are at in your life. Okay, so the next one is strengthen your family, heal if necessary. Whatever that looks like to you, if to strengthen your family, heal if necessary. Maybe you're having issues with a son or a daughter or a husband or a sister or a brother or a mom or a dad or a parent, a grandparent, whatever it is that you can look at what you can do to strengthen your family. And a lot of times it's just a lot of this has to do with sitting down talking. I'm going back to this. If possible, as far as it depends upon you, strengthen your family. If possible, as far as it depends upon you, heal if necessary. If you have to go say I'm sorry, go say I'm sorry. Go apologize. I don't know what that would look like in your life, but this has to do with your own personal core foundation so that you can live authentically, so that you can live a win-win in your life. Okay, the next thing I wrote down here is extend your community. Don't live to yourself. We were not created, we are not an island in and of ourselves. We need people in our life. We need to extend our community, and find what excites you. Find out where you feel like your purpose could be used. Maybe it's with the local animal shelter. Maybe it is with the local hospice. Maybe it is with your gym. Maybe it is your church, synagogue. Maybe it is with your local YMCA. Maybe it is, if you like to ride motorcycles, that community with a motor, if you're a camper, RVer, that is extending your community with people that do RVing. There's a lot of things that you can take a look at that'll help you to develop your personal foundation and get you strong, get you rooted and grounded deep so that you are not living life any old way. Okay, the next thing is start attracting instead of striving. Start attracting instead of striving. And what I mean by that is, and that's different. That's different for each individual. But that can do with maybe you need extra income. Okay, maybe you have a full-time job, but maybe for a short time you need to you could use some extra income. So you can go to resources to where that you can start finding out, okay, what is it basically am I good as a hobby? And if this I would like to make some extra income, and what would that look like if I did this hobby and charge for it? So you go to places that could use your services. So that's only one thing. That's not everything. That's just one thing that you can do to help you to stop striving for extra income. Okay. This is the last one. Select and reach your preferred living status. So this says I've got to sit down and take the time out on what that would look like. What would my preferred living status look like? And you'll have to sit down. Do your due diligence to see, write it down, say, okay, ask yourself that question. And then take the necessary steps. Do your due diligence to find out how you're going to get there. So that's it. That's 10. I've got one more video, number 3 video, coming your way in regards to simple steps. They may sound like they may sound like a lot, but they're really simple. If you'll take the time and you really want a strong personal foundation. Well, I'll see you again on the 3rd video. Go out and make it a great day. I'm glad you found me. I'm glad I found you. I'll see you again next week.